Hi, okay, welcome to session 2 of the course. So we are going to start with a recap. If you're new to my courses, then this is what we do every single session. And you can imagine as we get through the course, these are getting really quite large, but they are incredibly powerful for memory, for recall. The impact on progress is really, really good. So I would advise you to always do them, never skip them. Even as I say, when we get through the course and we're getting towards the end, this is a big old chunk of work because we'll have done a lot of learning by then. But do it. Honestly, it makes a massive, massive difference. So I'm going to ask you to pause, have a go at those questions, hit play when you're ready, and I will bring the answers up. Okay, there's your answers. Hopefully that went well. Okay, now let's have a quick look at the number of factors on that 36. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are an odd number of factors, which means 36 is a square number. And you would have worked that out when you got to the 6 and you hope 6 times 6. You only need to write it once. All right, hopefully that went well, and we are starting to be a bit more confident with that language. We are moving on and finishing the types of number with product of prime factors, highest common factors, and lowest common multiples. We're going to start off with our highest common factors. Okay, I'm going to write HCF for short, highest common factor. So if I'm being asked to find the highest common factor of 18 and 20, I literally just need to find the factors of 18 and 20, and then I'm looking for the highest number that's common in both. And you already have this skill. You don't need to be watching me do it. So hit pause and press play when you think you've got the highest common factor. Okay, so I've got 1 and 18, 2, 9, 3 times 6. It's not in the 4s, it's not in the 5s, it's in the 6s. I've already got that, so I can stop. 1 and 20. 2 times 10, it's not in the 3s. 4 times 5, and then obviously I've already got the 5. So if I look at all of the common ones, 1 is common, 2 is common, and that is all I've got available to me. The highest out of those 2 common is 2. So the highest common factor is 2. Okay. So we're literally just going to be using our factor bugs. Lowest common multiples are, again, exactly what they sound like. All right. I've got 5 and 4, and I want you to find the lowest common multiple. Hit pause and press play when you think you've got that. So multiples are just times tables. So I can literally just say, okay, I got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, just list a few out. I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I can see that the number coming up in both lists is 20. It's the lowest common multiple. So yeah, if we keep going with the list, we will find more pairs that match, but we want the lowest. So we've just got to find the first one. And the answer to that is 20. Okay. Let's do another one. I'm going to leave that one on there, and we can do 12 and 10, please. So hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, now, what some people do, I have no idea if you have done this or not, but I am mentioning it just in case. What some people do is they notice, so if we look at this first one, if you just multiply 5 and 4, you could get the answer, and you can save all this time, okay? And it is true of a lot of pairs that you could be given, that would be a way of finding the first lowest common multiple, but it doesn't always work. If you did it here and wrote 120, you would be wrong, okay? So you really do have to list them all out. So I've got my 12, my 24, my 36, my 48, and then my 60, which I know is in the 10 times tables, but I'm going to show my examiner that I know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I am not risking any marks whatsoever, and I can clearly see it's 60, not 120. And these can often come with, unless they're very simple basic numbers, these will often come with 2 marks. 1 mark will come from that working out from that listing of the times tables. Okay. All right, let's look at another couple of numbers. If I was to ask you to find the lowest common multiple and the highest common factor of 56 and 30, we've now kind of gone outside of our tables, which could make things a little trickier. Highest common factor is fine. We can do our factor bugs and we can work that out, no problem. So the highest common factor isn't really the issue. The lowest common multiple is the problem, because I don't know the 56 times tables. So listing the multiples isn't going to be easy. That said, it's quite common for it to come on a calculator paper. And if it does come on a calculator paper, then you can literally punch 56 in, plus 56, plus 56, plus 56. And you could do it that way. And of course, if you list them out, so 56, the next one would be 112, the next one would be 168, and so on. You've got your 30, your 60, your 90, your 120, and so on. If you were to list them out, then there's a good chance you're going to get a method mark, even if you don't find that match. I would recommend shifting the method to one of product of prime factors. It is a lot more work. If you've got a calculator, it would be worth doing that first. Can you quickly find a match? If you can't quickly find a match, it may be that you are going to have to go to another method. And that's what this session is actually pretty much all about, this area of product of prime factors. So we'll come back to this, 56 and 30. But what we first need to do is check in and make sure we know what we're doing with products of prime factors. So I'm going to take the number 60, and I have to write that as a product of prime factors. And this could be a standalone question in the exam, have nothing to do with HCF or LCM. It could literally just be find the product of prime factors for the number 60. And there it is, a GCSE question. Product, we know what all of this means. Product means times. Prime numbers only have 2 factors, one in itself. So all the numbers need to be prime, like 2, 3, 5, and so on. And then the factors multiplied to make it. So even though that's quite a mouthful of mathematical language, if you break it down, there isn't anything there that you do not know the meaning of already. Okay. Just whilst we're on the subject of prime numbers, I will just mention, if you don't know, 2 is the only even prime factor, makes it quite special because it's the only even one. Because obviously, as soon as you hit 4, 4 is in the 2 times table, as is every other even number, which then means they can't be prime. So nice little fact about the number 2. So finding my product of prime factors means that I need to start finding factors. I need to start finding 2 numbers that will multiply to make 60. I don't use the bugs. I call it like a weeping willow tree. I've got these kind of branches and they just hang down. So the first split that I'm going to do is 6 and 10. But over here, I'm going to do a different split just to show you it absolutely doesn't matter. It's what you see. all I need are two numbers that multiply to make 60. So I could half the 60 and write 2 times 30. That's not a bad way to start these because 2 is a prime number, which means with the very first split that I do, I have got myself a prime number. Whereas over here with the one that I was about to do, there's no prime numbers at all, which means both these numbers are going to go again. So let's go back to this one. What multiplies to make 6? 2 times 3. Now they are both prime, so I'm going to circle those. I don't want to do any more work on those numbers because they are prime and that's what I'm looking for. 10, what multiplies to make 10? It's 2 times 5. I have finished. Every number I've got now has a circle around it because it's prime, which means I don't want to work on it anymore. So the product of prime factors is, and we don't leave it there, we write 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Because obviously I've got that product that I've also got to include in my answer, that times sign. You could tidy this up and say that that is 2 squared times 3 times 5. Either way, the examiner is going to be happy with your answer. Okay, let's just finish this side off. If I go half again, I've got 2 and 15. I can't half now because that's an odd number. What multiplies to make 15? 3 and 5. So I've got 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. The exact same answer, which of course is what we would expect. So when you are looking at answers later down the road, when we're doing our recaps or whatever we're doing, I'll have workings out and things like that down, but it may not be the same as yours. And that doesn't matter. All right. It doesn't matter at all. So that's how we do the product of prime factors. Let's give you one to have a little bit of a practice with. So find the product of prime factors for the number 84. Hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so this splits, I can half it, or I can spot it in the 7 times table and say 7 times 12, and 7's a prime number, so that was good. I've then got 2 times 6. I've then got 2 times 3, and that's my answer, 2 times 2 times 3 times 7, or 2 to the 2 times 3 to the 7. If you got that right, fabulous. We're going to just do one more before we see how we're going to use it. So let's just do a low number. They don't always have to be big. What would 28 look like as a product of prime factors? Okay, hopefully you remember to hit pause and I'm not rushing you. Hit pause now if you didn't. Okay, so 28 is going to be 4 times 7 in my head. 7's prime, and then 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 times 7, or 2 squared times 7, whichever you prefer. All right, now let's see how we can also use this to help us answer HCF and LCM questions. Okay, so this is important because it could be just a question by itself. It's really common actually, but it can also be used to work something else out. So let's go back to our 56 and our 30. Okay. If we're going to use product of prime factors to help us find the HCF and the LCM, the first thing we're going to need to do is get those product of prime factors. So I want you to hit pause, do the product of prime factors on those, and then hit play when you're ready. Okay, so let's check in with that. So you should have had 7 times 8, and you should have had 4 times 2, and then 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 7 for that one. And then for the number 30, we've got 3 and 10, and we've got 2 and 5. Okay, so we've got 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, We are going to use a Venn diagram to put these numbers in, and then that diagram will organize how we find our HCF and our LCM. Now, before we do the organizing of that, I want to make a quick note about where the two HCF LCMs live within that Venn diagram. So we've got a Venn diagram here. Okay. We've got the highest common factor in that middle section. So if I'm being asked to find the highest common factor, I look at the numbers in that middle section. The lowest common multiple is literally everything in the diagram, all sections, okay? So that's how the Venn is going to work. We're going to draw a second one now. When you draw it, make sure it overlaps nicely so there's plenty of room in the middle to put the numbers. I'm going to call the first circle my 56 circle and my second circle the 30 circle. And then I am going to match up anything I can. So from 56, I've got a 2 and it matches with that 2, so it goes in the middle. I then look and can see that there isn't anything else that can go in the middle. It's literally 2. The rest of these numbers need to go in this section, so they're in the 56 circle and not in the 30 circle. And the rest of these numbers are going to go in here. So I found my prime factors. I've now put them in a Venn. I can now answer my HCF and LCM question. Now I'm just going to, if this will let me, just going to resize this because I don't want to lose the Venns that I've drawn because I want to scroll up. So we're going to pop them there. All right, so the highest common factor is easy to write down because it's just 2. It's the only thing in the middle. Yeah, highest common factor. Lowest common multiple is literally everything. So this section, and this section. So our lowest common multiple, and I'm going to show you a little trick here, write them in numerical order, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. That is a big old piece of maths that we've got to work out there. And if it's on a non-calculator paper, you really are going to have to work it out for yourself. Now, the trick is to go backwards, because when we're times in by 2, we're just doubling, which is really easy to do. So we work with the bigger numbers first, and it really does make a difference. So 7 times 5 is 35. 35 times 3, now you might need to jot this down or you can work it in your head, is 105. So here to here, I had 35. Times that by 3, and I'm now at 105. I need to double that, which is going to give me 210. I need to double that, which is going to give me 420. I need to double that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right. All is good. And that is going to give me 840. Thought I was missing something there. That is 840 for our lowest common multiple. Okay. I am happy with that. And we are going to do another question. Clean this off. I want you to just have a go now. All right, literally just have a go. See how far you can get. So I'm going to give you the numbers 32 and 46. We'll do the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple so that we keep on practicing both and recognizing where in the Venn it is. Press play when you've had a go at that question. Okay, so 32 is, I'm going to say 4 and 8. That's just what I see. 2 and 2. And then 2 again with the 4 and 2 and 2. So a lot of 2s in the 32. Okay, I'm going to do my 46 over here. And then I'm going to do my Venn in the middle. So 46 is going to be 2 and 23. They are both prime. I don't actually have to do much there at all. Okay, in goes my Venn. So I am going to match that 2 with that 2. 2 is going in the middle. And that is the only thing going in the middle. So I've got another 4 2s to pop in there and a 23 to pop in there. So my highest common factor is 2. And my lowest common multiple is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need another one. Times 23. So I've got 46. Okay, 46 and 46 is going to be 92. That's going to be 184. Now, if you're struggling to just double, you literally write it out like that. And you've got your 368, and then you can do the exact same thing. You do what you need to do at the end of the day. To get the answer. All right, happy days. I think we should do one more, and then I'm going to show you something that the examiner can do. This is taking it right up to the top possible grade. It could be at the very end of the paper. No one really knows whether it's classed as a grade 4 or a grade 5, but we're going to see it. So we'll do one more like this, and then we'll see what I'm talking about. Whoops, I want to rub it out, not have it come back. All right, let's do 40 and 45. Just hit play when you're ready. Okay, that's my 40 done. What we got? 5 times 9 there. And then 3 times 3. 5 is common. 3, 3, 2, 2, 2. Okay, we've been unlucky with the numbers that I've kind of randomly plucked because we haven't had more than one number come up here, but you can, all right? If I had a 2 matching and coming up in here, then my highest common factor would be 5 times that 2, which is 10, all right? Hopefully we'll start to see a couple of those so that you are exposed to it. So the highest common factor, as we can see, is just that single number 5. There are questions that could come up and have nothing in that bottom, which makes the highest common factor actually 1. But you would never see that in an exam because it would be a pointless question. Okay, so my lowest common multiple is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. So 5 3s are 15. And 15 3s are 45. Double it 90, double it 180, double it 360. So LCM 360. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. This is something that they are doing in exams. We need to be very aware of it and very comfortable with it. So I could turn around to you and say, find the highest common factor for the numbers represented by A, 2 to the 3 times 3 times 5, and the number B represented as 2 to the 2 times 5 times 7. Okay. Basically, they've done all the hard work for us. They've done the product of prime factors. We haven't got to do all that work. We just go straight to the Venn so that we can answer the question. The problem that I think most students have is because the question hasn't necessarily been seen like that before, they kind of get stuck. Their brain can't quite get over that hurdle, but it is the exact same thing. So you are just going to put that information into a Venn. My top tip for this is to get it out of this form. We don't want to see it in a power form because then we can't see all the twos and pair them up as easily as we might. So I would really show by the side of the circle all the numbers that are involved in this question. Then I would do my pairing. Obviously, you know what to do from here, so you don't need to just watch me. Hit pause, finish that question off, and hit play when you're ready. Okay, so my 2's going in the middle. Got another 2 going in the middle. Got a 5 going in the middle. And then the 2 and the 3 and the 7 live there. I don't really have to fill it in if I don't want to, because the question is literally just asking for the highest common factor. It just wants the middle section. So HCF is 2 times 2 times 5, which is 20. And I'm glad we got some more in the middle there so I could show you what I was talking about. Okay, let's do another one. So I would like you, I'm going to rub, oops, I haven't got my rubber on. Rub this out, rub that bit out. Just save me writing the whole sentence out again. And we'll change it to lowest common multiple this time. So let's do lowest common multiple for 2 to the 2 times 3 to the 2 times 7 and 2 to the 2 times 3 times 5. Hit play when you're ready. Okay. So I've got 2, a 2, a 3, a 3, and a 7, a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 5, 2 in the middle, 2 in the middle, 3 in the middle, I've got a 3, a 7, and a 5. Okay, I want the lowest common multiple, which means we've got a bit of work to do here. So it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. Okay, we're doing this without a calculator. 7 5s are 35. Now, 35 times 3 is 105. Okay. 105 times 3 is going to be 315. That is 630. And that is 1,260. Big old number there. So my lowest common multiple is 1,260. Great. Okay. That is probably enough examples. You have got some questions to have a go at. So just 6 there for you. Just to practice everything that we've done today. The answers will scroll up in a minute. Well done, and I will see you in the next session.